18th, 2019, almost at the year 2020. How did that happen so fast? So it's time for the Bitcoin Cash Weekly News Roundup with usual Roger Veer. Everybody knows Corbin Fraser, and is this your very first time on the news show? You've been around a bit, but first time on the news show, Akane. Welcome, Akane.
Thank you.
You guys might have seen Akane on Twitter. She's one of the biggest supporters of Bitcoin Cash. Huge force to be reckoned with here in Tokyo.
One of the original supporters of Bitcoin here in Tokyo, and I think she's probably responsible for more individual merchants signing up to accept cryptocurrency than any other single human being in all of Japan.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
You got a bunch. Let's name some of them that you're like the Pink Cow, of course. Right?
Yeah, Pink Cow.
Two Dogs was you, I think?
Two Dogs wasn't me.
Is that somebody else? Okay.
Mezzo?
Mezzo.
Mezzo was you?
Yeah, Mezzo and some other people as well. It's
Okay,
teamwork.
so teamwork.
Yeah.
Okay, Mezzo's an awesome nightclub in Roppongi. If you're in Roppongi, make sure you go to Mezzo. Like, that place is great. There's the other nightclub. Rakan. That was you too, I think,
that was
right?
introduced by Two Dogs, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you were the one who facilitated that and made it happen also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any others there? I think there's probably been...
Take Me to Ebisu.
Take Me to Ebisu, yeah, Nyokocho, yeah.
And Gyoza Shack.
The Gyoza Shack, yeah.
The manager of Take Me to Ebisu is the owner of Gyoza Shack, so that's how I got connected. So.
Okay, so lots and lots.
And Salsa Club.
The Salsa Club, yeah. So for those that don't know, Akane's hobby outside of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin Cash is salsa dancing.
Yeah. Yes.
One of many hobbies. She's one of many talents.
So yeah, hop on Marco Koino, zoom into Tokyo, and there's a very good chance that some of those pins are because of Akane's
Not a very good chance, 100% for sure chance that that some of them are because of Akane, and probably more than any other single human being on the planet. So thank you. When did you first start taking an interest in cryptocurrency, Akane?
So I was working at the Pink Cow, which was the first restaurant to accept Bitcoin payment in Japan.
Yeah.
Back in, I think, 2013.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here we are, 2019, so around 5 years now.
A while, yes.
Time goes fast, yeah. So, yeah. So anyhow, great work, Akane. I think you'll be back again in the future. Oh, people might be wondering, where's Komugi, where's Asuka? So Asuka had to film for TV Tokyo today, so if you're in Japan, you'll see her on TV Tokyo here shortly, so she wasn't able to make it in time for this. And Komugi had other obligations, but she'll be back next week. And we talked about it. I'll give them on the air next week. We talked about Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt last week. Well, look what I got here. I have Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt translated into Japanese. And whoever translated it into Japanese, the English subtitle here says, Economic Lies. And having read the book, that's a fantastic title for the book because it points out there's all these economic lies that people are taught to think things like the minimum wage helps people or that protectionism helps people or that taxes are good, right? Like those are all economic lies that people are fooled to. And then I did my best to read the Japanese letter. Seikai ichi shimparu na keisai. I thought it was Narabu, but it's Gaku, which also kind of means the same thing. So how would you translate that in English there? Japanese lessons for the day. Translate this Japanese. Seikai, that's an easy word. Seikai, that's an important word. What does seikai mean?
Seikai?
Seikai.
Oh, seikai.
My pronunciation's so bad, she doesn't know.
Seikai
the whole world, yeah.
The best in the world.
Best in the world, right?
It means the most simple economics in the world.
And if your Japanese sucks like mine, seikai and seikai sound almost the same. What does the other seikai mean?
Seikai? Like right answer?
That's right. It's the right answer. So different Chinese characters, the pronunciation is similar enough.
Similar,
so
yes.
If you're a Gaijin, you can't hear the difference. If you're
really
Japanese,
can't. My ear did not pick any of those up.
Let's hear the difference. World versus correct answer.
World is sekai.
And?
Correct answer is seikai. Very different, actually.
Seikai, right? Almost same. You just say one a little bit slower. So anyhow, that's the Japanese lesson for the day. We bought these books on purse.io using Bitcoin Cash, 15% off. They showed up, I think, within 48 hours of placing the order. And behind the camera, our office is stacked to the ceiling with electronic stuff that we're doing stuff with. All bought with Bitcoin Cash on purse.io. So special shout out to purse.io for enabling us to buy anything we want on Amazon using Bitcoin Cash at a significant discount. If you haven't tried it already, go and give purse.io a try and tell a friend about it as well. So
15% for your first purchase, and then I think once you make your first purchase on Purse, you can do up to about 30%.
Yep.
I think.
Even I kid you not, I have my tea right here. We bought a great big giant case of tea that's in the refrigerator over there. We bought it with Bitcoin Cash on purse.io, and I'll tell you right now, it tastes so much better having bought it with Bitcoin Cash. So. And this one tastes even better than the bottle I left on my desk for a week. And I sipped that one a few minutes ago. It was not as good. So, anyhow, lots of news this week. In addition to being able to buy whatever you want, not just Amazon Japan, Amazon US, Amazon UK, all over the world. Purse.io is fantastic. So, let's say you want to buy things without people knowing what you're buying. How would you go about doing that, Corbin?
With Bitcoin Cash, the best thing you can do is obfuscate everything, and then of course shuffle your transactions, make it so incredibly difficult to try to track you.
So Cashshuffle, right? The BCH project Cashshuffle is basically nearing completion. It's live right now in Electron Cash. If you have the Electron Cash wallet, you can install the Cashshuffle plugin right now today and shuffle up all your Bitcoin Cash. So the NSA and the FBI and whoever else that wants to know if you're buying tea on Amazon or not have a much harder time doing blockchain analytics to spy on what you're up to. So
you know, tea is one of the slang words for marijuana, right?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you smoking a little tea?
No, I'm not. So, I'm so innocent and pure. We'll get sidetracked. I'll tell one more story. When I was a very young man, I was 16 years old. I was driving to work on New Year's Eve afternoon, maybe 4:30 p.m. And I was working at a video game arcade. I was 16, and I got pulled over by the police on the way to work. And the police officer asked me, said, "Have you been drinking? Have you had anything to drink today?" I'm 16 years old. I honestly thought it means if you had anything to drink today. So I told the police officer I had a Coke about an hour ago. And he got so angry and really yelled at me a lot. And I genuinely didn't understand that the question he was asking me is if I had any alcohol. Because I'm 16, I hadn't even considered trying alcohol.
Was he jumping to conclusions that you were like doing lines at 16? Or like,
no, I think he was just and to be a little bit fair to cops, that they do have a really hard job. I think they deal with bad people after you're a bad person often enough to where they just get jaded about everybody, and they assume everybody's a bad person. And rather than give anybody the benefit of the doubt, I think they're just super skeptical about everybody, which is really too bad. But,
I've met some really honest, good cops in my life, but then you do come across the crazy ones that have let power completely get to their heads, and then
even the so-called good ones, they don't do anything or complain about the bad ones.
No.
So if you're silent when you're confronted with evil, you're complicit in the
blue
evil.
Line.
It's a gang symbol.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother episode.
So back on the Cashshuffle stuff, we should mention Cashshuffle protocol. It's open source, which means any wallet development team out there that wants to integrate this protocol.
If you want to help out, help out.
Yeah, make your developers start integrating this into their wallet. We're looking. Actually, Josh Ellithorpe is currently funding a security audit on the Cashshuffle protocol.
Yep.
So he's looking for some help. Anyone that's willing to contribute to paying the security firm to do this audit. He's set up on Bitbacker, so if you search
Bitbacker.io.
Bitbacker.io, yeah.
And so I don't know why people like the Indian Ocean so much. I'm not such a fan. So I guess these real nerds, they love the .io names. But I can tell you guys, if you're looking to start a business, maybe it's not quite as good of a domain name available, but get a .com or at least a .net domain name,
or .cash. I'm liking the .cash domains.
If you're already a Bitcoin Cash fanatic and a crypto nerd, then it's fine. But any normal person, if you tell them a domain name, .cash, .io, .whatever, that's not .com, .net, or .org, they're going to get confused.
Yeah.
And I can tell, just last night I was showing a Japanese person that speaks English, fantastic, graduated from college in the U.S. They have a good grasp of the English language. I told him purse.io, and he's like, "What? That's not a website. How can I go to that?" And it's confusing. So pony up and get a .com domain name is my advice. But bitbarker.io is really, really neat. I've been on there. Have you seen this website, Akane?
Yeah.
You have used Big. Okay.
Recently, yeah.
What was your impression?
Simple.
Simple. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's the ability to
crowdfunding or tipping.
People.
It's like
tipping
a cross between tipping and crowdfunding.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Patreon super tip kind of thing. So if you are looking to support Josh Ellithorpe, again,
you should support Josh. Cheers
that
for
is
Josh.
A serious doer within this Bitcoin Cash community. Search Quest on bitbacker.io. You'll see his little devil avatar that shows up. He's got this little cute devil kind of character there, and basically he's trying to fund this this security audit on Cashshuffle to ensure that everything about Cashshuffle is going to protect the user's ability to mask their payments and their wallet and their transactions, which I think is very fair.
Fantastic. So keep up the great work, Cashshuffle guys, and we've already started work with the help of John Football and some others of integrating it directly into the Bitcoin.com wallet. So it's coming. And actually, another big news, right around the time this video comes out, we're we're expecting to release, I think, what'll be the biggest update ever to the Bitcoin.com wallet.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of new features are coming. Should we tease them now? Should we say them all now, or cover them all next week in detail? What do you think?
Your call. Your call.
I think if you don't already have the Bitcoin.com wallet, install it right now so you'll have it ready. And we'll cover, maybe we'll do a whole separate video covering the what's coming in the new Bitcoin.com wallet shortly, because there's lots of awesome features for anybody that wants to use Bitcoin as cash.
Yeah, I'm sure
Hence
we'll be probably posting something on Reddit RBTC once we've
You'll
got
see
those
it all
updates
over.
up. So yeah.
Yeah, so actually, speaking of posting things on Reddit RBTC, because our Bitcoin is censored, we post all of our videos there every week. Like, what do you think? Should we start making a post of every one of these weekly videos in the news feed at news.bitcoin.com just to help get more traction and get more eyeballs on it? Is that useful? Do people want to see that? What do you think? Put that in the comments and let us know. And maybe we'll do that too. So.
Now, Akane, you're really popular on Twitter. You're getting a ton of followers. Are you on Reddit as well, or are you typically more of a Twitter user?
I am secreting on Reddit.
Yeah, just quietly hiding
I'm not
behind the
saying
scenes.
anything,
Hey, no, that's
yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah,
I think
just
Reddit's kind of
really-
nice that way. Twitter, you're kind of like it's a little bit
Yeah.
more of a public
Very
kind of
public,
thing,
yeah.
whereas Reddit, you can kind of do your own thing, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's good. If you're not following Akane on Twitter, what is your Twitter handle?
I think it's. Sorry, I'm not very good with social media.
That's all right.
Well-
Yoko Akane, I think.
Yeah,
or
I think you're right.
Yoko
It is.
Akane.
Yeah.
We'll put it right here in the description for you also. And I think it's later in the thing that we should jump to the other social media piece of news we have. Crypto impersonations, social media scammers. Have you ever been impersonated on social media yet, Akane?
Yeah, a friend of mine has, yes.
Yeah.
By fake you.
They've been contacted by a fake me, yeah.
Yes.
So
I haven't had any fake Corbins yet, but I haven't really been looking. I guess
there might be.
There might be.
Don't
at
be
this point,
surprised
yeah.
if there are.
I've never
so.
seen fake comment.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to impersonate me. I'm a nobody.
You never know. You never know. That might be coming. So, unfortunately, there are a lot of fake Rogers, and it's really, really frustrating. At least on Twitter, like Twitter gave me the verified badge or whatever, and so it's harder for people to impersonate me on Twitter. So that's a little bit better. But like, I think I complained about Instagram last week or in some other video recently. Like, I literally gave Instagram a copy of my passport to prove my identity, and they still didn't verify me on Instagram. And Instagram is filled with fake Rogers. There's like a page after page of fake Rogers on there, which is a real problem. And they've literally scammed, fake social media Roger accounts. They've scammed, that I know of, over $6 million worth of crypto. They got one company for $5 million, another one for $1 million, and then a whole bunch of other people for a couple $1,000 here and there.
Crazy.
And it's really, really, really a problem. So I'm extra mad at Instagram though. I gave them my copy of my passport. They didn't verify me. So now not only am I at risk of all these fake Rogers on Instagram, now I'm at risk of Instagram getting hacked and leaking my passport copy to the world too. So Instagram, get with the program. But I want to give a special shout out to another guy whose screen handle is Immortal, I think, on Twitter. He managed to help me get a better Instagram ID. So my new Instagram ID, @Roger.
I did see that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of that's my bragging rights for the day. I have @Roger on Instagram. So I'm not so active on Instagram or Twitter. Like once a day, I try and do something on Twitter. But anyhow, Instagram @Roger, on Twitter @RogerKVer, on Facebook. I don't know what my ID is because I kind of stopped using it. But I'm never ever going to contact any of you guys asking for money or asking you to invest in something like via direct message on any of these social media platforms. Never ever. So don't believe any of them. And tell anybody that's busy like impersonating me, tell them they're smart enough to find honest work. Go and find some honest work. Go and make the world a better place rather than a worse place. So
Yeah, I think the big thing to say about this stuff is any serious business is likely going to be done through email with PGP signatures.
Yeah.
Don't trust.
Although I have to I will give credit to one of these Facebook impersonators that contacted this company that I'd done some business with previously, and they had a whole fake PDF contract, and it was signed, and they were promising Bitcoin.com is going to do this, this, and this to promote the service, and then they even had a quote that they can release from me, like on media. And like I have to admit, I read the quote. It sounded like something I would say. Like I'm like, this is a pretty good quote.
I'm
Like
gonna take that one.
maybe I'll use this anyhow. Like credit to that scammer for like doing a good job of making I guess a convincing scam. Because some of these other ones though too, like they contact my friends that I've known for a long time and like horrible grammar that's not from a native English speaker, and like they know pretty quickly that it's not not actually me. And then they block them, right? So the scammer blocks my friend once the friend figures it out. So.
If you see fake accounts of Roger, of Elon Musk, of you name it, any of these big people that Vitalik gets harassed a lot about this stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, report them. You know, make sure you take the 2 seconds out of your day to report them, and hopefully we can at least try to get more of these scammers offline. But I think it's really up to Instagram and Facebook and Twitter to maybe step up.
Or like every problem is a business opportunity. Like, I think let's figure out a way to have like a proof of human on the blockchain or on the internet so you can know that you're doing. I guess we kind of have that with like PGP signatures or message signing with addresses, but we need like an easy to use thing for the masses that people know they're talking with the same person over and over. And so that's an opportunity. So if you want to, if you're an entrepreneur out there, figure out a way to do that and solve people's problems, and people will pay for that, I think.
Yeah.
So,
That's a great idea.
yeah, just have to figure out what the right, easy way for people to do that is. So,
Should we get back to the?
yeah, back to the front page.
This is some good news.
Yeah,
This
so
is huge
speaking
news.
of doers, right, we talked about
Yeah.
Josh Ellenthorpe and Chris Bassi and the Open Bazaar guys and, you know, Yanel Football. Another group of doers are the BitPay guys. Those guys are fantastic. What did they report there, Akane?
BitPay reports over $1 billion in transactions in 2018.
Do you understand how many $1 billion is?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how to say that in Japanese. Senokuen, is that right?
It's
Ichichoen, is that?
It's Senokuen.
Isenokuen, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot, right? So $1 billion with a B worth of transactions in
Jeez.
2018 for 1 year.
That's huge.
They've come a long, long, long way. And, you know, great job, Stephen and Tony and everybody over at BitPay for helping drive Bitcoin to be used as cash for the world. And one of the very first businesses to like have Bitcoin Cash on their platform because it actually works. And like I made my other previous video showing that like if you want Bitcoin to be scalable for the world with 1 megabyte blocks, just following Moore's law, Bitcoin Cash can scale to be money for the world much faster than Lightning Network can. So, yep. So anyhow, BitPay, what else they got? Their Copay wallet, their BitPay wallet. I've used both of them. They're great. In fact, our Bitcoin.com wallet is a fork of the original Copay wallet. So thank you. Thank you, BitPay, for having so much awesome open source stuff. Like there's so much awesome open source resources that were made by BitPay that the rest of the Bitcoin Cash ecosystem has been building upon. So special thank you, BitPay, for having done that.
And actually, on the note of our wallet, we should mention the Bitcoin.com wallet is closing in on 3.5 million downloads.
That's a lot, yeah. Although our notes here say that Bitcoin users have created over 1.5 million wallets on the Copay and BitPay wallet platforms. Like they're fantastic. I guess we should say thank you. We have 3.5 million wallets based on their wallets. So if it wasn't for
them,
Copay and BitPay and them making that, we wouldn't have this awesome Bitcoin.com wallet we have. And I think we're still sharing a lot of code back and forth because all the wallets are open source. And then it's not. I think it's a different thing in our list, but they just added stealth addresses, which are now called something a little bit more politically correct, to the BitPay wallet, which is open source, which maybe means we can plug that in quickly into our Bitcoin.com wallet as well.
Yeah, actually on that note, I know the guys from cashaccount.info have been wanting to leave a pull request on our repo to suggest that we integrate Cash Account with these new stealth addresses.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah, so make it simpler for people to share accounts with just a single name, but then also be able to kind of hide them so they're not such a public
So you can
address.
receive your payments for your tea with a bit more privacy than you have currently.
So we should mention Sean Rowland, head of product from BitPay, says Bitcoin has the network effect around the world, and we are still extremely bullish on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ecosystem.
I wonder if he means Bitcoin Cash by that.
He's got it. Hopefully you guys noticed our audio quality has improved.
Yeah, we bought an awesome 4-channel mixer.
Yeah.
I'm personally with Bitcoin Cash as well.
So I think one of the issues we were having is all of our tracks were being recorded into one single track, and it just became a total nightmare to kind of deal with.
For the editor, yeah.
Yeah, so...
now we have good video and audio, I
Yeah.
think, when the batteries last.
If you have any other recommendations, though, or any other problems with our setup, please comment below. We will read them, even the mean, hateful ones that call us all idiots.
There's very few of those from those NPCs, so...
So I was wondering if BitPay can come to Japan and add Japanese yen. That would be great.
Thank you for keeping us back on track. Yes, so I made an introduction for BitPay to one of the big exchanges here. But another thing that BitPay did that basically solves that problem is they just offered, you can get paid out in BTC, BCH, of course, Bitcoin Cash, the one that works, and then 3 stable coins, I think, right?
Yeah, USDT, I think C, and then they got...
I don't think they have USDT. I don't think there's Tether. I think it's 3 other than Tether.
Oh, really? No kidding.
I think
wow.
so. But that makes it real easy. So we can, in fact, we're already helping, the ANA group with their stuff here. they can accept Bitcoin Cash payments on their website and then convert it to one of these US dollar-based stablecoins, send to a Japanese exchange, and then convert the US dollar-based stablecoin to yen and receive yen in their bank account. So I think that means BitPay is open for business in Japan now.
That
just
would be
like
great.
that. They might need a little bit of Japanese language help for the checkout flow on their website, but I think we can help them with that real quickly as well. And I think there was another company here in Japan you wanted to talk about getting their act back on board because you've been instrumental in that.
Well,
so
Bitcoin,
bring us an update as to where Bitpoint is at and what they've done so far and what we want them to do and what we think they're doing in the future.
Right. So Bitpoint was working on is working on a POS payment system for merchants.
Bitpoint's another company here in Japan.
It's
Bunch
a
of Japanese guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they came to the Tokyo Bitcoin Cash meetup a few months ago, or
They've been a bunch of times.
Actually.
Yeah.
And they showed us like how much they made so far, but it wasn't like perfect yet. So they say gonna work on more.
Yep.
And we haven't really heard from them since. So
we should follow up with them.
Yes, we
more.
should.
Yes,
yeah.
we should. And I think you're the right person to help with that.
I
if
would
you
do
have
that.
time for that. So.
Yeah, I think the big thing we want to make sure with all point-of-sale systems is that they're easy to use and that any wallet should be able to use them. And I think that's a really important feature. When you see that companies like BitPay are doing $1 billion worth of transactions, I mean, there's money out there for a point-of-sale terminal who has their act together that is open to supporting any type of wallet and to make it easier for merchants to get in and out of crypto as they need. I think it's wildly needed within the ecosystem, and I think the first mover advantage could really play out in whoever kind of does it right. So.
And one other thing that I was shocked by, I just found out recently, so the blockchain.info, or now it's .com, but their wallet is not compatible with the BitPay, I forget which number it is, BIP70, is it? Yeah. That was shocking to me. I wonder if the Coinbase Bank wallet is.
I believe Coinbase added BIP70, but I don't want to
I was surprised that blockchain hadn't. So like I use the Bitcoin.com wallet the most, but I still have a I use the Bitcoin.com wallet the most. I still have a blockchain.info wallet. I think everybody should be able to allow their wallets to interact with every other platform. So get with the program for everybody there, please.
Absolutely.
So, and then I guess sometimes you're not allowed to. So like I guess we've given shout outs to them in the past, but the Alipay guys in Slovenia that have like hundreds of physical shops on board, you can pay in Bitcoin Cash, but you're only allowed to do it with their Alipay app, which is good, and it's not really their fault. It's the Slovenian government says like you have to control and have KYC on every single person. So like I guess that's understandable. And you can fund your Alipay wallet with your Bitcoin.com wallet, which is what I did to fund mine, and then went shopping and bought all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're in Slovenia, Ljubljana specifically, like man, you can buy just about anything with Bitcoin Cash there. So special shout out to the Alipay guys there as well for doing that. What else we got here? We got a whole list of things.
We should go into Venezuela. Growing Bitcoin Cash merchant adoption. So Venezuela, huge
economic
growing
basket case. The politicians there need to read the English version, or I'm sure there's a Spanish version.
We should be mailing some of those to their government officials.
Yeah, maybe we should mail some of them. Mail some of them to the people in the Bitcoin Cash meetups.
Yeah, there we go. So the Bitcoin Cash community is working to grow merchant adoption in Venezuela. Meetup organizers are joining efforts educating people about the benefits of using permissionless peer-to-peer cash throughout the country. And there have been Bitcoin Cash meetups in 8 different locations within Venezuela. If you're interested in getting involved and growing the community out in Venezuela, connect with Chris at Bitcoin.com.
The Crypto Kid, Chris.
Kid Chris. You probably see him
Thank
on
you, Chris,
Twitter.
for doing an awesome job. Chris is also the one who prepares these list of topics to talk about each week.
Thank you, Chris.
And just an awesome guy all the way around. So special shout out to Chris for. There's a lot of people behind the scenes helping out at Bitcoin.com with the production of this show and everything else we're up to. So there's so many we can't name them all, but thank you to all of you guys, and especially the ones that are in this room being distracted by us doing the show at the moment. So.
Yeah, there's people actually working behind the camera
trying to
get stuff done.
Yeah.
So next one here, we've got reusable addresses. This is the new branded version of stealth addresses. So
reusable addresses does sound a bit more
it sounds a little bit
friendly for the regulators. In fact, it sounds like there's less privacy. Oh, you're reusing an address.
Yeah,
that's what I
great.
thought when I first read it.
Yeah, Akane was asking, what is this stuff?
What is this?
So it is.
So basically, it's a reusable address that generates a bunch of other addresses for you. So, and that's already right now live in the Copay and BitPay wallet, and probably coming soon to the Bitcoin.com wallet because of that.
So the good thing with this is it makes it a lot more difficult for people to be able to track down your wallet and be able to find out how much you have. This could also be good for things like point of sale terminals as well. If a store wants to list their QR address, they can put that up on the back wall for tips, or they can put it into their point of sale terminal, and when people pay them, people aren't able to also scan and see how much money that business has made throughout the day or throughout the year. Which I think most businesses probably want a little bit of privacy.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Privacy is good.
Yeah.
Privacy is just another word for like fungibility, and one of the things that makes money is fungibility, and that's why I've been a big fan of like all sorts of privacy coins for a while, because BTC version of Bitcoin used to have some privacy tools built in, and when the blocks became full, it's done. You couldn't afford to use any of them anymore.
Well, the same with the tumblers. Back
that's
in
what I'm talking about.
The old tumblers,
yeah.
when the fees rose up, it's like those tumblers, they quickly
Done.
disappeared. They, yeah.
But tumblers are coming back in a big way to Bitcoin Cash, so
Yeah.
thank you for all the people that are busy building those. Another fun thing that's coming to Bitcoin Cash is not XTHIN, XTHINNER.
It's more thin than thin.
Yeah, it's thinner than thin. And so basically it's a propagation protocol. Another guy that deserves a special thanks, been around the Bitcoin space for a long time, Jonathan Tuman, both the Tuman brothers. Special thanks to you guys for being awesome and being in the space for a long time. He just recently unveiled XTHINNER, which can compress blocks by 99.6%.
That's insane, right?
That's a lot of compression.
That's wild.
So, and it's not possible to do it on either BTC or BSV. And I believe that's because of the canonical transaction ordering, which I don't know why, that's such a non-friendly name.
Yeah.
Like basically they should just call it alphabetical ordering.
Yeah.
Like all it is, it's a fancy name for putting the transactions in alphabetical order there. So like if you say alphabetical ordering, everybody knows what that is. If you say canonical transaction, what is that? Wow, that's pretty nerdy stuff.
Next time the developers of any of these things are looking
Consult
for names,
with us for we'll help you
pick
out.
our brain. We'll help you out. Make it a little easier
alphabetical ordering. So
Tuman from XTHINNER said this dramatically improves the bandwidth utilization efficiency of nodes during block propagation and should reduce the block propagation latency for reaching the full network. That is some pretty highbrow stuff, though. I'm not sure if everyone got that. But yeah, great work, John. You're invaluable to the community in Bitcoin Cash.
We actually had a pleasure to meet.
yeah, he was here this
Jonathan
year.
at a meetup.
I don't know, 3 weeks ago, a month ago,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
1 month ago.
Did he get to go shopping with
Came
Bitcoin
to the
Cash?
salsa club.
He did the salsa club. Did you see him dancing?
Maybe we'll release the video of him dancing at some point if we get enough tips in the video down
There you
below.
go.
I'm not saying whether or not that video even exists, but maybe it does. So, sorry, Jonathan.
Poor Jonathan. Like,
Speaking of Jonathan, there's another Jonathan, Jonathan Silverblood.
yeah.
We should talk. He's really been popping up all over the place.
Cashaccount.info.
Is that one of his websites? He
That's-
has a bunch of projects
yeah,
he's been busy working
a
on.
few
So.
other ones. Have you registered for a Cash account yet, Akane?
Cash account?
Yeah, it's kind of like a username almost that you can like register a wallet to a unique username.
Sounds like we're going to sign
I
her
don't
up
think
right
so.
after this video.
We'll have to hook you up.
All right, thank
Pretty
you.
cool stuff.
Yep. So powered by Bitbox and Bitcoin. I was looking at BitcoinFiles.com just yesterday and the day before.
Yeah.
Do you know? We talked about it a little bit. I'm guessing you don't know what that is. So
Not really.
BitcoinFiles.com. Of course, they're referring to Bitcoin Cash. You can pay to upload whatever file you want to IPFS, the Interplanetary File System, and have your files hosted just like that. So there's a lot of interesting applications that can be done there with that, plus like the Badger button and all sorts of things are in the works there. So
Joey actually and we were discussing potentially tying in
Joey
Bitcoin
King,
files.
our
Yeah,
Joey.
King.
So another special
Yeah.
shout. Joey's like another guy behind the scenes, like doing an awesome job. So if you use like our paper wallet from tools.bitcoin.com
Tips.bitcoin.com.
tips.bitcoin.com, yeah, he's been busy doing a bunch of stuff and just all around awesome guy. So thank you, Joey, for being behind the scenes, building all sorts of useful tools. And like, if you haven't been on bitcoin.com recently and you're just watching our videos each week, head on over to bitcoin.com, click the menu bar at the top, and just spend a minute looking at all the awesome stuff we built. We have paper wallets, we have tipping, so you can give out tips at Halloween or Christmas, whatever, and it sets it up so that if people don't, or anywhere you need to tip people, when you go to a restaurant, you can give part of the tip in like cash, so you don't make people mad, and then give part of the tip with this Bitcoin Cash tipping system we've made. And if the people don't claim the Bitcoin Cash after however many days you set, boom, the money bounces back to your wallet, so you don't have to worry about people like losing it or forgetting about it or not caring about it. So like, it's a really awesome way where you can just start tipping people everywhere. And I guess if there was tipping in Japan, I'd be doing that everywhere. But you better believe the next time I leave Japan, I'm going to be giving these out as tips like candy to everyone everywhere. In Japan, like there's the exact opposite of a tipping culture. It's like almost people be kind of mad, like, why are you giving me extra money? Like, don't do that. So
I'm sure there's countless people that cringe thinking of how many paper wallets they've printed out and given to family and friends that maybe have never been used, never been swept, never been, they just kind of end up in a dusty bin somewhere.
Yeah.
So this prevents that. And tips.bitcoin.com,
Yep.
huge shout out to Joey for his hard work on that.
and shout out to the original project that we forked. Like, thank you all these open source projects that are out there. I think it was cryptotip.org, I think, that we forked.
Actually, I think ours was built off the BTC tip, I think is what it was.
Well, whoever it was, sorry, I forgot. But special shout out to every single open source software developer out there for building these tools that like allow people to build upon and like fork and do new things. And like, thank you guys to every open source software developer out there. Thank you.
Should we mention Honest.Cash?
Yeah.
So Honest.Cash, this is a simple platform to use to post content, share content, upvote, downvote. It's a simple kind of a medium type clone, and the cool thing is it's integrated with Bitcoin Cash. So they've upgraded their simple Bitcoin wallet, and their Bitcoin wallet, which is powered by Bitbox and Bitcoin files, now allows transactions to be traced back to the Honest network and to the posts that had been upvoted. We've actually been working on our Block Explorer to integrate more integration to some of these other third-party applications. I know Sam on our Block Explorer has been hard at work tying in SLP, which is the big one that
token
SLP
things.
Tokens, yeah.
You know what? And so tokens are basically, they've arrived on Bitcoin Cash now. We've been waiting for them. So what do you want to see us tokenize for Bitcoin.com first? Should we tokenize like mining contracts in the mining pool? Should we tokenize cashgames.bitcoin.com and like the revenue that's generated from that each month? Should we tokenize like the ad revenue from like our ad sales on the website? What do you want to see us tokenize first on Bitcoin.com? Put that in the comments, and we'll see about doing that. Like, there's all sorts of awesome opportunities there. What are you excited about tokenizing the first?
I like the idea of tokenizing pool. I think there's
mining
something kind of
contracts,
interesting with the mining contracts, especially because when we saw leading into December, it was almost impossible to get a contract with Bitcoin.com, and we couldn't keep them on the shelves. And I think when we see the bulls start running again, it's very likely we'll see that same situation, and I think that's when we can see some interesting things play out in the economics of a token tied to pool mining contracts. I think it could be kind of interesting.
Akane, any thoughts?
I haven't really thought about it.
So here's another food for thought. So we should give a shout out to Akane, who's launching her own business there called Peaceful Warrior. Peacefulwarrior.com.
.cash, actually.
.cash, peacefulwarrior.cash. They're making all sorts of Bitcoin Cash themed apparel. And what else do you have? Tell us more about Peaceful Warrior.
So Peaceful Warrior is 3 female founders,
Okay.
and one is Tammy, who lives in the Philippines, and another is Emily, lives
And
in
one is Akane right
Vietnam,
here.
and one is me in Tokyo. And our goal is adoption of cryptocurrency, and we're focusing on Bitcoin Cash.
Okay.
And we made a line of jewelry, like I'm wearing one. I'm wearing this every day.
Yeah, my wife actually bought one.
Yes, thanks for that. And we made this to kind of symbolize our brand, Peaceful Warrior, and also to attract female community into crypto. But we're hoping to help sell like products in crypto, like other people's products, like art or
So doing
like
actual
yoga
commerce.
mats. Yeah, e-commerce.
With cryptocurrencies.
And also we are
Using
hoping
it as
to.
cash.
Yes,
For
using it
online
as
payments,
cash. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what we want to encourage people to do. And we're also hoping to like provide like information and some education for like school kids and people, merchants, in order to get them on board with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's great.
So
we should give a huge shout out to Tammy as well.
Yeah.
She's been really hard at work
she's
in the
awesome,
Philippines,
yes,
spreading adoption, sponsoring teams. I think they had a basketball team
yes,
that was sponsored
college
with
team,
Bitcoin Cash, and they
Yep.
had jerseys and everything.
Yes.
And I think we mentioned them in the past, though, but coins.ph, like a fantastic remittance platform in the Philippines for cryptocurrencies. They were quick to integrate Bitcoin Cash because they know it works. And thank you guys, coins.ph, for spreading Bitcoin Cash and cryptocurrency usefulness for online payments and remittances in the Philippines. So great work, coins.ph. If you're in the Philippines or know someone in the Philippines, make sure you check out coins.ph. So
This leads us to my personal favorite trading platform. This is the one I use when I'm in need of trading. CoinX. So CoinX.com, they've announced a new BCH pairing with Zcoin, or Zcoin if you're Canadian like me. So the Bitcoin BCH exchange, they added their newest cryptocurrency. I think that brings them to a total of 55 different pairs on CoinEx, which is pretty cool.
That's a lot of pairs. So what do you guys know about Zcoin?
Is this the one with the ZK snarks and the privacy aspects? Yeah. I know a little bit. I'm not a huge altcoin trader these days. I'm kind of just mostly into Bitcoin Cash. But
as am I. I'm mostly into Bitcoin Cash. But I think a lot of people. One big giant difference I noticed between like the BTC maximalist camp and the Bitcoin Cash camp is we like anything that works. If it works, we like it. And I've been that way since day one. So a lot of people don't know. Like I was the second person involved in Ripple ever. I put up the seed money to start Ripple. I haven't had anything to do with Ripple for a long time. I own some still, but that's it. Zcoin is another one of those ones. I put up the seed funding to start Zcoin back in, 2012, 13, 14 or something. It's been a while now. And it's I think they're in Thailand, most of the guys from Zcoin.
Cool.
But like, been keeping an eye on it. Privacy is good. Usefulness in commerce is good. They've been making some strides, but I'm a supporter of anything that is useful for like actual payments and commerce and undermining the government's ability to control what people do with their own money. And BTC lost its ability on that front, and that's why I'm no longer interested in BTC. And somehow they managed to swindle away the Bitcoin brand and marketing and that sort of thing. And then they claim that people promoting Bitcoin Cash, usable as cash for online payments as described in the white paper, that somehow we're the ones deceiving people. But no, it's absolutely not the case. Bitcoin Cash is the version of Bitcoin that's described in the original white paper. BTC is a different project at this point. I wish them good luck with their project, but it's not interesting to me. Zcoin is interesting to me because their goal is to be cash, private, fast, cheap, reliable. Dash is interesting. Like Ethereum is interesting as well because it's actually useful. All these things that are actually useful for commerce are interesting to me. BTC, about the only thing it has is its coattails, and it's kind of resting on its laurels there. And good luck to them. But
well, I think this is kind of what gets me excited about being involved in Bitcoin Cash and within the community is that it does really feel like a large majority of the people within Bitcoin Cash aren't actually maximalist to Bitcoin Cash. They're maximalist to peer-to-peer cash. They're maximalist to the idea of this permissionless
money for the world.
Money for the world. And I think that's originally what got me excited about Bitcoin back in like 2013, 2014. And I think, we really see there's a lot more positivity. There's a lot more like just general push for, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Dash, whether it's Zcoin, whether it's
anything that works. If it works, we like it.
I think the people that have this kind of cult mentality of like our coin is the only one that can work and all other coins are going to die. I mean, I think you only have to look at the world and see that there's countries all over the world using hundreds of different currencies. And yeah, there's a few big ones out there. And maybe in a perfect world, in a utopia, maybe we would only use one currency that's permissionless. But will that ever happen?
In the nightmare dystopian world, we're all going to be using one currency that's completely tracked and controlled and monitored by the government. And
well, that's the scary thing. Is cryptocurrency in theory, if
can go either way.
In the wrong hands, could be really used against you. So I think it's worth reminding people that peer-to-peer cash is what
that's
a lot
the goal.
This is
peer-to-peer electronic cash system for online payments. And you see some of these people on Twitter. Boy, are they doing mental gymnastics to try and think that Bitcoin wasn't meant to be used as cash for online payments. Like
Akane's had her fair share of BTC trolls getting mad at her for.
Some of them probably accuse you of not being real. Is that right?
Yeah.
How often do they say you're just a sock puppet and not even? They probably think you're not even a girl.
A few times.
Are you a robot? We're not sure. Okay.
I'm not a robot.
Okay, cool. That's exactly what a robot would say. But all right.
That's true. Well.
So the next one on our list here is CashTipper.com. I have not seen or looked at this other than reading our notes.
I hopped on. I took a quick little peek to take it for a spin. It is it allows any WordPress developer or anyone with a WordPress-based website to receive tips for content on your website with instant one-click payments using Bitcoin Cash and, of course, zero confirmation. You can monetize your blog posts or news sites with Badger button, allowing for instant Bitcoin Cash tips. And other mentionable WordPress add-ons we should mention are blurry images.
Is that from Cash Tipper? Is blurry images?
It looks like they've added that ability. Is
that from the same group? I guess is my question.
I don't know. I think blurry was actually
we should do some
corrected.
experimenting with blurry images plugin. So I have some really interesting, or I think lots of people have some interesting ideas for how that can be
What would
used,
you blur on the internet?
Or better yet, what would you pay to unblur on the internet? In Japan, it might be illegal to unblur certain things.
Yeah, lots of that blurry stuff.
Yeah.
Not that I would know.
So
I've never seen the blurry stuff.
So and then we have Shout, right? Did you look into Shout?
No, it looks like this must be tied to Cash Tippers. So
it says enable your users to post tweets to your Twitter timeline or messages and memes on a popular place on your website for a small tip.
I might have to take that for a test spin if someone wants to post on my Twitter account.
And if you want to learn more, go to cashtipper.com. I wonder if you can set the price for what they have to pay to tweet from your account. So the other thing too, I was asking about last night online. There's TipperBot, Tippr. It's spelled a little bit weird. I was asking what the maximum amount you can tip via Twitter is, and it seems like as much as you trust the wallet to do. I think that could be pretty fun. What celebrity should we tip with some Bitcoin Cash?
Just drop
an amount to like catch their attention. Yeah. So like, what celebrity or group or organization should we give some tips to on Twitter? So if you have an idea for that, maybe myself or Bitcoin.com can fund making that happen, or maybe we should just do shotgun tip of like anybody that's like looks like they're in Venezuela or something like that. We'll give them all like $1 via Twitter to like 10,000 people or maybe even 100,000 people. Something like that. We'll figure out what to do on Twitter. And
leave some comments.
Yeah, what should we do? Give us some ideas.
Yeah, I like this.
Brainstorm some ideas, yeah.
So this one was added because I think people wanted your opinion on what's been going down in the US of A with the government shutdown. So recently some volunteers were kicked out of a national park for cleaning it up during this government shutdown, and they were basically booted out by some park rangers for apparently not having a permit to clean the park. So the Libertarian Party of Tennessee Delta Region volunteers were cleaning up Shiloh National Military Park. They were kicked out for cleaning it up due to government shutdown. And
Park ranger kicked them out without much of a reason why. I guess first of all, like calling the government shutdown isn't accurate. So there's this awesome little flow diagram. Is the government still taking money out of your paycheck? If the answer is yes, then the government is not shut down. The government is not shut down. And the other thing though, but like the government shut down, like where some people I guess aren't going to work. It's been going on over a month now, I guess. Like I haven't lived in the US for like 15 years, haven't been a US citizen for over 5 years now. I don't know, I don't pay that close of attention anymore, but
I think one of my favorite tweets I saw going around was that apparently some of the IRS staff were furloughed to come back to work.
And they said you have to come back without pay, and somebody else is like, how does it feel to have your labor stolen from you without compensation?
I think it was
what goes around comes around. Was it? Yes. Good job, Eric. Follow Eric Voorhees on Twitter. He's just full of interesting insight there as well. Fantastic thought, thinker in the space. So. So what do I think about the government shutdown? I wish there was a government shutdown. The world would be a better place with it. And if you're not convinced of that, pick up the English version of this book. In Japanese, it's called Economic Lies. In English, it's called Economics in One Lesson. And in fact, just 2 nights ago at the Tokyo Bitcoin Cash meetup group, I was talking with one of the guys that comes from time to time, and he was telling me about how he used to kind of be a bit of a leftist and a socialist type. And he read this book per my recommendation, and he's been reading some von Mises and some other stuff, and he says like, wow, it's really changing my view of the world, because and it happens if you study economics, you become more and more of a free market libertarian advocate, because who is that, Ocasio-Cortez or whatever that politician's woman name is, she said something like being morally right is more important than being factually correct, or some nonsense like that.
Mental gymnastics of the next level.
If you read this book, and for those of you watching this video, you'll pick up the English version, not the Japanese version here, but like being factually correct and understanding factually what the cause and effect are of these government policies will make you into a libertarian, because even if the intent behind the minimum wage laws are fantastic, like the intention is great, but you have to judge government programs on their actual effect, not the intentions of the politicians behind them. And even in Venezuela, the intentions behind the politicians there with all their crazy socialism, their intentions are fantastic. They want to make this, utopia for everybody. But look at the effects. You have to judge their actions on the effects, not the intentions. And if you want to understand the effects of government policies, read Economics in One Lesson, read Socialism by Ludwig von Mises, read Man, Economy, and State by Murray Rothbard, any of those books, and you'll be a libertarian before you get to the end of the book, because you'll realize that even though the politicians have great intentions in their hearts many times, you have to judge them by the effects of their actions, and the effects of their actions are devastating to the economy, and they literally retard the rate of economic growth of all of humankind. And I think that's true of a lot of the small blockers in the space. Like, you'll find a recurring theme is that they don't have any economics background. They haven't studied economics, and they think they're doing the right thing, but you have to judge their actions based on the effects, not their intent.
Yeah.
And the effects have been catastrophic to Bitcoin. It's shattered the crypto coin ecosystem into 2,001 altcoins now, and delayed the adoption of cryptocurrency as peer-to-peer cash for the world by years. So that's been the effect. And that's the other nonsense. Oh, we can't hard fork because it'll split the chain. Look at what SegWit did, and the refusing to hard fork did. Is SegWit split the chain, and then it split before that, just by letting the blocks become full, split the entire ecosystem into 1,001 altcoins. So it had, even though maybe their intent was to not split the chain, the effect of their actions was the exact opposite of their intention. So we have to judge their actions based on the effect, not the intent. The effect was to do the exact opposite of what they claimed their intent was.
So since we're talking about kind of libertarian stuff, because I know people
We
are
do
always,
every week,
yeah,
right?
because people usually ask this. Has there been any update on the Free Society project?
So I had a call this morning with Patrick Friedman, the grandson of Milton Friedman, the son of David Friedman. I guess if I can give shout outs to two more books. So
Machinery of Freedom.
The Machinery of Freedom is one. And another one, though, that I think I may have mentioned previously, though, Future Imperfect by David Friedman as well. It really talks, it was one of the books that I read when I was like 20 years old that made me excited about Bitcoin when Bitcoin finally came along. So in this book, so David Friedman is a law professor at Santa Clara University and an economist, and then his actual degree is in physics. Super genius.
Yeah.
His father, Milton Friedman, super genius. I never met Milton Friedman. I've met David Friedman a couple of times. Talked with Patrick Friedman several times, met him a couple of times as well. The grandson there, all of them are super geniuses here. But this book talks about, so he's a law professor at Santa Clara University, you know, pretty high level school in the US. And he's talking about in this book that he wrote probably in the late 90s, maybe he wrote it in 1998, 99, 2000. He's talking about how once we have a form of anonymous digital cash on the internet, I can go and practice law on the internet without a law license. And I can prove using digital signatures that they're dealing with the same person over and over. And they can judge me based on my past legal advice, whether or not it was good or not. And I can build this online reputation that's completely separate from my real world reputation. And like this entire economy can form online that's separate from the physical identities of people in the world, and the government's not going to be able to control this sort of thing. And he was writing about this in like 1999, and I read all about it and thought, wow, what an exciting stuff. And then Bitcoin came along, and that was, you know, what was enabling all the things he talked about in this book. And the Silk Road was the first step into building these online, you know, marketplaces that are separate from people's real world identities, and they have plausible deniability for their commerce. So like David Friedman was writing all about that. His son is, you know, probably interested in, or I'm sure is interested in those things too. His son's been involved in like these free cities projects where you're trying to get governments to grant some sovereignty to different lands. So I was on a call with him and Olivier Janssens, the founder of freesociety.com, and we're plotting and scheming away how we can get a piece of land together and just leave everybody alone that wants to do things on that land. So we're making slow but steady progress, and we're actively working on that. So that's I guess the update for that today. Was that in the questions, or was that just a question?
That was just
from
a
you?
curiosity.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just kind of wondering when I can buy a plot of land.
I had
I'm wondering.
I had an 8 a.m. call with them this morning because that was the only time zone that worked, and I was up until 2:30 a.m. on other calls about Bitcoin Cash and blockchain.info's future plans with Bitcoin Cash. So from 2:30 a.m. the next call started at 8 a.m. this morning. So it doesn't stop, but it's fun every day.
Cool.
And I guess that leads us into the viewer comments and questions.
Yeah.
So, Akane has a prettier voice than ours. Go for it, Akane.
This is from Tao Jones. Cheap air is so cool. I use it every time I travel. Also try Destinia.io.
That was a very Japanese pronunciation.
Sorry.
I would pronounce it Destinia. I don't know. What do you think?
Destinia, right?
I don't know.
If I was Japanese, I would definitely pronounce it Destinia.
I didn't say that.
Just about. So,
Destinia.
yeah.
Destinia.
Anyhow, they're both using Bitcoin Cash payments with BitPay. Have you used either one before?
Which one?
Destinio or Cheap
No,
Air?
I've never heard of
No?
it.
You-
Oh, it's
I've heard of
Destinio.com.
Cheap Air.
Have you
You
used
use it,
one?
right?
Yeah,
Cheap
cheapair.com.
Air.
Yeah.
Probably use it all the time, you said.
Yeah, I've used it before as
I
well.
have, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of Cheap Air. Actually, I'm meant to go abroad for a little while late next week or the following, and it's all booked through Cheap Air, so
Yep.
pretty
So
exciting.
Nice.
so if you want to show your support, visit those websites, spend your Bitcoin Cash, and then use the dollars that you would have normally used to buy those airline tickets or hotel rooms or whatever, and use it to buy more Bitcoin Cash. Spend and replace, and that's the way we can get as much Bitcoin Cash circulating in the economy as we possibly can. So anytime you needed to buy something, buy it with Bitcoin Cash and take the dollars that you would have used normally to buy it and buy more Bitcoin Cash. And it especially is true with Purse.io because you can save money on every single purchase. It's a fantastic way to do that. So you want to help with this guy's last name?
Yeah.
Joseph is the first name. So
Joseph
Joseph,
Nyagari. How'd I do?
how do you do that? How would a Japanese person say that last name?
Nyagari?
Nyagari. Yeah, maybe he's half Japanese.
I don't think so.
He says, great work to the team. I never miss an episode, always refreshing.
So thank you, Joseph. Sorry for butchering your last name. Oh no, that's not going to be Japanese. Japanese pronunciation for,
Adele?
hey, that's not Japanese. Adere. Right? Adele.
Aderu.
Aderu, okay.
Aderu, yeah.
It's not Ru, it's Ray at the end. So.
No, you so weird.
Anyhow, Adele Bunzo. That's a hard last name.
Buznoma?
It's very international.
Sure. Buznoa. Thanks, Roger, for bringing more economic freedom to the world. Well, I need your help to do it. So if you've already read the English version of this book, fantastic. If you haven't, please do. If you already have, share it with a friend. Buy a copy, go on Purse.io, and buy Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. It's a fantastic book. It's not a political book, it's just a book on economics. But if you study economics, it has profound political implications because you realize, oh my God, even though the politicians might have good intentions in their hearts, the things they're doing are delaying the progress of all of humankind. So share the book with a friend. So thank you, Adele. So
Next up is from Swift. We've
I
got.
bet that's not his real name. Maybe it is, but
Maybe.
yeah.
Hi, Roger. All Ukraine believes in you, and we all hope and wait for Bitcoin Cash to grow to 4,000 again.
So I believe in Ukraine. I believe in everybody all over the world that's interested in this. And like the only way for Bitcoin Cash, and I hope Bitcoin Cash grows to $4,000 again each. But the only way for that to happen is for people to start using it in commerce. So anytime you need to pay somebody or somebody needs to pay you, ask if you can pay them in Bitcoin Cash. Ask for them to pay you in Bitcoin Cash. Use it every chance you have as cash. And the more people around the world we can get using Bitcoin Cash as cash, that price will start trickling on up again. And in fact, just yesterday, I'm trying to be done with making investments in the space, but I agreed to make an investment in an infrastructure company that's building infrastructure for Bitcoin Cash stuff. And so I took some more dollars, bought more Bitcoin Cash, sent them the Bitcoin Cash. So yeah, that's how you do it. So in everything in my house, everything in the office here, we're buying it all with Bitcoin Cash on Purse.io. So anytime you're shopping on Amazon, use Purse.io and you'll save 15 or 20% doing that. And I don't know if Amazon ships to the UK or to the Ukraine rather, but maybe they do. Start using it there, or you can get a PO box in the US that'll reship it to you. So, Akane, your turn with the guys next. How many hard, difficult names do we have on the list?
This is from Oroteo.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roger and everyone, I'd like to see the progress of BCH. I've been at BCH Hackathon and interviewed Gabriel Cardona with my phone. It happens that my phone was accidentally on selfie mode and I was pointing the phone at the wrong direction. How about a marketplace in Brazil?
What do you think, Akane?
It would be nice if, the shops are.
So maybe
accepting this solution
Oroteo
also.
can help make a marketplace
Yes,
in
maybe
Brazil,
he can help.
right? Every problem is an opportunity. Anytime you see anybody having a problem in the world, it's a business opportunity. And I hear a lot of these like socialists online, and like I guess the fun one for people to pick on recently is that whatever her name is from New York lady or Ortiz or something like that. I don't know. It's a big long
politician.
name. But like you hear them talking about like, oh, let's like tax the heck out of the rich or whatever. And like if you think about like, why does Bill Gates have $1 zillion? Why does Warren Buffett? Why do these people have a bunch of money? It's because they've created even more value. than what they have. So the reason, like, Henry Ford became rich is because he gave people cars to drive that they valued more than the money that they gave them. Apple has a whole bunch of money because they gave everybody iPhones that people value more than the money they paid to Apple. This tea company probably has a bunch of money because they gave everybody tea that they value more than the money, or in our case, the Bitcoin Cash that we spent to buy them. Anytime any business or any entrepreneur anywhere produces anything in a voluntary trade in the market, both parties are better off after the trade. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen. So every single rich person out there is rich because they created more value than what they actually received themselves. So they sent out more value into the world than what they received themselves. And ask yourselves, like Elon Musk has $1 billion. Look at what he's doing with this $1 billion. Do you want this Ortiz, whatever her name, politician from New York, to have that $1 billion? What's she going to do with that? Right? I don't think we're going to get awesome Teslas and missions to Mars and like boring machines to dig, tunnels underground, and think about all the R&D that Apple could do with $1 billion to make even more amazing iPhones. I spent a lot of time watching new CES videos because CES just happened and there's all sorts of new awesome tech that came out of CES. That's fantastic, right? So if the government took all that money and then spent it to have park rangers in parks telling people they can't pick up litter in the park, that doesn't make the world a better place. It's the entrepreneurs spending their own money. There's a great little video clip of Milton Friedman online, and let me hope I can get this right. He says there's 3 ways that money can be spent. Someone spending their own money, in which they're very careful and very frugal, spending their own money on themselves, right? So someone spending their own money on themselves, in which they're very careful about how they spend their money, right? And ask yourself, when you're spending your own money, you're very careful about how you spend it. You find the best deal at the best price, and you get the absolute most for your money worth. Someone spending their own money on someone else. So like, let's say I want to buy, Corbin or Akane a birthday present. I'll be cost conscious, but I'm not as careful about it because I'm not the one who's going to get it at the end. And so maybe it's not going to be exactly what they would have spent the same amount of money. So if I spend, 20 or 50 bucks on something, I'm going to try and get something they like, but I don't know because I'm not them. So I can't even hope to be as efficient. And then the third way is spending somebody else's money on somebody else. In which case, you don't care about the cost, you don't care about the quality, you don't care about anything because it's not your money and it's not going to you. It's somebody else's money going to somebody else, and that's how government spends money.
That's a very good point.
So you can't even you can't even hope for them to be as cost conscious or more as good of stewards with their money. So ask yourself, when you spend your own money on yourself, you're very careful about it. When you spend your own money on somebody else, you're not as careful. And when you're spending somebody else's money on somebody else, you hardly care at all. And that's the method of government. So you can't even hope for them to be as frugal or cost conscious as you would. So I guess I should give a special shout out to all the Friedmans. Milton, David, Patrick, thank you guys for making the world a better place. All of you guys are awesome human beings that the world is a better place for. And one of the books that I read as a young man, I talked about Patrick, I talked about David Friedman's books. Milton Friedman, one of the first books I read when I was still a high school student, Free to Choose by Milton Friedman. Another very, very soft, gentle book, but it's just about economics and the effects of being free to choose what you do with your own life and your own money, and kind of set me down the path to where I am today. So thank you, Milton, for that, and thank you to the rest of the Friedmans for that.
Well, and we should mention too, if if you're not quite ready to dive down the business train and try to turn this idea of a marketplace in Brazil that's accepting Bitcoin Cash, probably the easiest step forward would be to start a marketplace in a city or in a town where there's some interest.
Or go on your local equivalent of like Craigslist or whatever it is there in your town, and like offer to exchange Bitcoin Cash to and from the local currency, or offer to sell whatever product it is that you make or have access to. Offer to sell it for Bitcoin Cash, or contact, if there's a seller that has something you want to buy, contact them and say, hey, can I pay you in Bitcoin Cash? Like every single chance when you're buying or selling something, ask if you can use or be paid in Bitcoin Cash. So or Oroteo in Brazil, and sorry for not pronouncing your name right, but like thank you for your effort and your attention, and please help us spread Bitcoin Cash in Brazil as well. So, and I guess I'll take the last one here from another difficult last name, Scythian Kitchen. Scythian Kitchen, I don't know. Roger, have you read Charles Adams' For Good and Evil, The Impact of Taxes on Civilization? If not, check it out. Very thorough and interesting book. So I haven't read that book, but I was aware of that book from when it first came out, and it's been on my radar. It came out a while ago, I think. Anyhow, it was on my radar. Never got around to reading that one. Maybe I will at some point. But yeah, I love reading those sorts of books. So yeah, I guess that brings us close to the end of the show. Anything else, Akane? You're our special guest this week.
I've got a couple questions for Akane, because I think
Okay.
there's probably going to be some people watching this and maybe are interested in starting meetups. And I think that's that meetup culture, the meetup groups. She is a rock
She's the
star
one to ask about
of
that.
meetups. So maybe I could just ask you a few questions about
sure.
how to run a meetup. Do you recommend weekly meetups versus monthly meetups? What have
Give
you
us
found?
your tips and tricks
Yeah.
for meetup. And then Orteo can use in Brazil or
Right,
anyone
right.
anywhere else in the world, or Swift in the Ukraine, and who knows where the rest of these people are.
So I think starting a meetup is not that difficult. I mean, you make a meetup group on meetup.com, and Bitcoin.com is.
We'll pay
like
for that
helping
too. It's like
pay for
$25
that.
a year. We'll pay for the $25 for you.
And then I think starting from monthly is probably easier, because weekly takes a lot of
Kind of got to build up a
energy
little bit
and
of
yeah. And also like we have 3 organizers, so it's a little bit easier. Like if one person is gone or something.
Do you
like, we
recommend
can
having a
still
few
run.
people to kind of have backup and have
That
help
would be
with?
ideal.
But you don't need 3 to begin with, right? You
No,
can
no,
have
no,
your
no.
first one and then find the motivated people and have them join you as
exactly.
co-organizers. Yeah.
Yes. And also like you get like regular members like coming like all the time, so you can ask them too to take care of the members as well, I think.
And how are you promoting meetups? Is it primarily social media or?
I'm actually not promoting that much.
Yeah.
It's on meetup.com. The
Yeah, so I guess
information is
people
always
find it.
there, and I only use like mostly Twitter for social media. I'm
Yeah.
pretty bad at it. So I just tweet like a few days before something like we're having this meetup where, and just link the page.
And
on
what if,
meetup.com.
I guess, what if you want to start a meetup in a town that has nowhere that's accepting Bitcoin Cash yet? Is there any tips for maybe getting around that? Like, would you offer to accept Bitcoin and then you pay the tab with cash, or is there any kind of like ideas for like getting around that first before you get that first bar or restaurant or cafe or whatever that's accepting?
I think it's always an excuse to say like, we're gonna bring customers to your place by holding a meetup.
They love it, I suspect,
Yeah,
right?
they do. Yeah. So if the place is big enough, I mean, if you start small place is fine as well. So just like explain, what is Bitcoin Cash,
And tell them about Purse.io if they're in the
Yeah,
US,
sure.
right? So, or Japan.
Yeah.
So.
And say like we, for example, Tokyo Meetup does meetups on Wednesday night, which is usually like slow night
usually, yeah.
for restaurants and
Not for our
stuff.
Bitcoin Cash meetups. They're packed every week. So.
Sure, but yeah. So like for restaurants and stuff, it's good to have business on like slow nights.
Yeah.
So it's a good like reason for them to start like having meetups. Yeah.
And what type of businesses or restaurants, if you were going to start a meetup, do you typically go after bars or restaurants, or is there any specific ones that you find are like more open and into the idea of accepting cryptocurrency?
You mean like types of
What type of
merchants,
venue?
like venues?
Yeah.
Well, just restaurants, cafes, bars, whoever is
Whoever's open to the idea.
Not whoever,
But you don't
yeah.
have to have your first meetup at a place that's already accepting Bitcoin Cash. Just have it anywhere that you like, right?
Yeah,
you're
that is
you're the
true.
organizer. You get to choose. So organize it at a place
Just
you
give
like.
them an option.
Yeah.
And yeah. But in Tokyo meetups, like we only use places that accept Bitcoin Cash.
Now, because there's so many in Tokyo, it's easy to do that now,
Yeah.
right? So
But
in the
that
early
was
days,
a
it
way
wasn't.
to kind of expand the number of restaurants as
Yeah.
well, because we
Then
wanted
we'll bring
to
a
hold
bunch
meetups.
of people at your restaurant.
Because Aaron Gutman is the main organizer. He had this rule that we onboard like one new place a month.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, we got to do this. And like, I was talking to restaurants like.
Do you have a
"We gotta-"
target for this month?
Yeah, I'm actually shilling at this coffee shop
Yeah.
near Bitcoin.com office.
Okay.
That place.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess one other question. Do you typically pitch to like other businesses to get other restaurant owners and other people within that restaurant and business like bar industry to come to some of the other meetups to see how many people are coming out? And is there any other like tips for maybe encouraging other businesses to kind of?
That's a good idea,
Yeah.
actually.
There
we
you
haven't
go.
done it. We
That's a
haven't
free
done
one.
it. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay,
it's
cool.
a good idea. Yeah, have a meetup for like merchants, right?
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Maybe even pitching to like Chamber of Commerce's, within your area, and if you're willing to present or finding somebody who's confident enough to kind of go present and talk about Bitcoin Cash and how to
Yeah.
accept it. And,
That's a good idea.
Maybe showing people how to use
However,
it.
merchants are usually like working during those times,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of
You
hard.
got to go
for
when
them.
they're not busy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No,
But
well, thank
it's
you
a
so
good
much
idea.
for.
Or if it's
for
somebody you
coming
already
in.
know on a personal level, then you can have their ear
that's
right away.
nice. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good way.
And I guess, is there any other tips for? I mean, you're obviously going to get that question from merchants and from people. What about the volatility? What about the price differences? It's always changing. How How does a merchant?
It's an issue. It's
Yeah?
an issue here.
I tell them you can save 20% on Amazon
Yeah,
using personal.io,
yeah,
and
that's a
it
good
never
idea.
drops more than 20% in a short amount of time. So you can always get more for your money's worth.
But yes, that's a
I
good
think-
idea.
And you've been working on it, so like we need to get that available in Japanese language for Japanese support here. I kind of
Yes,
offered
yes.
to translate the whole thing for Purse.io. I'll reach out to them again and try and make that happen. Purse.io, we want more support for Purse.io here in Japan and Bitcoin Cash. It's huge here, but it's only in English at the moment, so let's figure,
Let us
figure
translate
that
it.
out. Yeah.
One last question for
Yes.
you. And this is more of a question, I guess, from a development point of view, but also an entrepreneurial point of view. What's the biggest thing missing for merchants right now? What are merchants asking for more of?
What do they need?
POS-based payment system.
Yeah.
POS system. Hear that?
Yeah, because
Bitpoint, Coin, Bitflyer. We're waiting for the
Coincheck.
Bitcoin Cash
Please.
system. Coincheck, yeah.
お願いします。
Onegaishimasu.
Yes.
That's the other final word for the day. Onegaishimasu in Japanese. How would you translate that? It's not really a direct good translation in English, but
Well, in this case, please make it happen.
in this case, please make it happen. Yeah.
Yes.
It's somewhere in between like please and I beg of you and
Yes.
something. It's a polite way of saying, I don't know, onegaishimasu. Please,
Yeah.
please do it.
Please do it.
Yeah,
please,
please
do,
do
it.
it.
Yes.
So,
I think that's all we've got.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Akane, for coming on. Really,
Thank you for having me.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yep. So I have a little bit more. If you don't have the Bitcoin.com wallet already installed, the big new update is coming next week. And tell us in the comments what future updates you want to see. And if you want a way to spend your Bitcoin Cash, head on over to pool.bitcoin.com. You can buy mining contracts. Head on over to cashgames.bitcoin.com.
Yeah.
If you want to break from all the arguing on the internet and just want to have some fun, you can play for free, or you can play for your Bitcoin Cash at cashgames.bitcoin.com with instant deposits, instant withdrawals. It's a win-win situation for everybody involved. And if you win, that's fantastic. If the house wins, we're going to use it to buy more tools to spread economic freedom to the world. So win-win situation. What else should we promote? Wallet.
Wallet.
Buy.bitcoin.com. If you
Yeah.
want to buy some Bitcoin Cash, head on over to buy.bitcoin.com. You can do it right now with a credit card today, and help a friend on board as well. So, and if you like the video, share it with a friend, subscribe, and catch us next week. See everybody then.
See you guys.